That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Halloween Ends! The thrill crazy, kill crazy, Jamie Lee Sea crazy finale to David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy, his contribution to the John Carpenter inspired franchise. That is being released courtesy of Universal and will simultaneously stream on Peacock October 14th, 2022.
I know we reviewed the last one.
Oh, yeah.
And I recall not liking it very much and feeling like it was unnecessary. I did enjoy this film better and think it's more interesting.
Yeah, Halloween Kills was... I almost can't believe how bad that film was, especially because I kind of did really like the 2018 reboot that tries to make some slight reinventions of the Michael Myers Laurie Strode relationship that finally makes sense in what they were trying to do with this chapter.
Anyway, this film is set in 2022. The last film was in 2018, so 4 years have passed. If you're wondering where Michael Myers has been, he's been living in the sewers of Haddonfield. But the film focuses on a guy named Corey, played by
Rohan Campbell.
We're introduced to him in 2019 as a 22-year-old. He is babysitting some little boy named Jeremy, and he accidentally kills that boy. So he becomes like the town villain because he doesn't go to prison for it. So he's kind of like a recluse, works for his dad in like a junkyard. But we flash forward to 2022, and Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee's character, bumps into Corey, and he's hurt his hand because he's been like fighting with some bullies. So she takes him to her granddaughter's job. The granddaughter's a nurse. She patches him up, and they like fall in love.
The daughter to Allyson.
The granddaughter basically falls in love with Corey. So the bullies attack Corey again.
Who are younger than him.
Who are like high school students. Mm-hmm. And these old punk ass, I don't understand how these kids bullied him. But they do. And they end up like throwing him off of a bridge. But the bridge can't be that high because Corey doesn't die. And he falls right like near the sewer entrance where Michael Myers is living. So Michael Myers pulls him into the sewer and like transfers his evil to him kind of.
Oh, a young protege.
Yeah, so now Michael Myers is like Corey's mentor. Mm-hmm. So then it kind of feels like the Joker, like this guy who's being bullied and like misunderstood gets angry and wants to kill. Mm-hmm. So like...
And again, with how traumatized communities create their own villains out of their pariahs.
So for a good portion of the film, Corey is out here killing his bullies. Some of them with the help of Michael Myers, like showing him how to do it. But most of it he's doing on his own. And then it culminates with Corey showing up at Laurie Strode's house. And it's not clear to me if he thought he was going to kill her, because he ends up killing himself. Mm-hmm. And then Michael Myers shows up.
And then the final showdown between the OGs.
And Laurie kills Michael. And then a big theme throughout the film is, like you already mentioned, the trauma that this town has experienced due to Michael Myers. So they strap Michael Myers' dead body onto the roof of a Ford Focus and drive around town parading him so everyone knows he's done. And then they end up at the junkyard, throw his ass in the mangler, the end.
Mm-hmm. And Laurie moves on and might be... love might be on the horizon with Will Patton's Officer Hawkins.
Okay. Well, at first I should probably start off. The one thing I remember about the last film was there were some sort of like interesting kills. Like I remember being in the audience and people being like, whoa, this one didn't really have, most of the kills are just like stabbing.
With the bullies in the junkyard, there's a little more...
I have 3 kills down that I thought were shocking. The first is when little boy falls because he's in like this like mansion style house and he falls from like the top floor to like the foyer. Mm-hmm. And that was shocking just because
it was unexpected. Yeah.
It's the intro before the credits, and the way it plays out, we're thinking Michael Myers is going to kill the babysitter and the kid, but really it's an accidental death. Then at one point, Corey and his little love affair granddaughter lady, they are at the...
Allyson, or Andi Matichak as Allyson, you mean?
She's Laurie Strode's granddaughter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They are at like the local radio station on the roof. and then they sort of make a disturbance, so the DJ comes out and kind of snaps on them.
Mm-hmm.
So then Corey comes back and kills him. And it's pretty gruesome because he like bangs his head into the table, which like crushes his mouth, and then he cuts his tongue out.
Which falls onto a record that's skipping as it plays.
And then the main bully who's bothering Corey kills him by like shooting like a torch, like fire into his mouth. It's not very explicit, but I mean, I wasn't, not that I need like extreme kills. We just watched Terrifier 2, so I'm good for like a year. But yeah, nothing really struck me as like, whoa, like the last one. Okay, these high schoolers, the bullies, they're basically like the reason why Corey is killing.
Yeah, it's about, he's a community created supervillain.
And these little kids are driving around in a Chrysler LeBaron, like this old raggedy convertible that they're acting as like a Bentley. And it's like, you could buy that car used for like $800. I thought that was funny that they're so, and the main bully just seems like a twerp. So
Well, but still, they somehow play better than the bullies from Halloween Kills.
I don't even remember
little
that.
girls taunting the boy. It's just, yeah, it's very cheesy.
So the granddaughter, she used to date this cop, and then she also works for this doctor, and both of these people are garbage, which felt very over the top.
Yes.
Because the doctor's having an affair with another nurse.
Nurse Deb.
Who he gives a promotion to.
She's the charge nurse.
And then Corey and Michael Myers, I believe that's their like second kill together. The first kill is the granddaughter's ex-boyfriend, that cop. He shows up to where Michael Myers' sewer situation is, and I'm not sure why he shows up there, but he sees that John Carpenter himself plays like a homeless gentleman.
I'm pretty sure that's him, yeah.
And Corey kills him and like throws him in a tent. So the cop sees it and gets freaked out, and then Corey tries to kill the cop, but is unsuccessful. So Corey runs into the sewer. And do you think that cop called for backup? Nope. He drags his dumbass into the sewer, and that's the first time we see Corey and Michael Myers like working together to kill someone, and Corey asking Michael, show me how to do it. And then that we also see that Michael's very weak, but as he's killing,
He gains strength.
it seems like he's gaining strength.
Which I think Green and Danny McBride have previously said that's how they view Michael Myers, as somebody that grows stronger the more he kills.
Sure. I thought the granddaughter, what's like Allyson? She's very aggressive. All of her dialogue is very forward, and I thought it was corny.
It is very corny. The only interesting addition to the lore is the suggestion that Laurie Strode and Michael Myers are somehow star-crossed lovers, and her granddaughter and this
Corey guy.
Mike Myers 2.0 are kind of what fate has finally brought together as it should have been. Which is,
I think their relationship's corny because it's too accelerated. I think another big thing is the story is sort of framed around narration from Laurie Strode, reading from her memoir.
which her memoir.
What is the title of her memoir?
Stalkers, Saviors, and Sam Hain, which is pretty bad.
It is bad.
But I wanted to mention, though, quickly, that was the reason, I think, after 2018's Halloween, that they distanced themselves from Michael Myers and Laurie Strode being brother and sister.
Oh.
Which happened in the original Halloween 2, where that came about. And that they did that because in this one, they want to suggest that maybe there's some sexual fascination between the two of them.
Sure. Well, I think that's corny. There's a scene, like Laurie Strode and that guy that she's flirting with, like that whole thing is corny.
Yes. Oh, there's the grocery store flirt scene.
There's a grocery store flirtation scene that ends with, from the last film, that interracial elderly couple that get attacked, the lady lives, but now she's like incapacitated, she can't speak.
The one that got the light bulb in her throat, yeah.
And that lady's like caregiver, I don't know if that's her family or whatever.
I think it's her sister.
Her sister, she like verbally assaults Laurie Strode. Like, it's because of you.
She goes, "Why are you smiling?"
Yeah. I just thought that was heavy-handed.
That's really heavy-handed, but they're trying to mirror some things here because Corey is out dancing with Allyson, and the mother of the kid who he was
accidentally died.
Is attacks him for having a good time because how dare he? Even it's like, well, why are you out here? But it's trying to show that he has a path to choose, right? He could be like Laurie Strode, or he could be like Michael Myers, and he chooses.
Another corny thing is Corey's mom is this over the top lady who's very what do you call it? Like she's
Shrew?
Yeah, but she's like very controlling.
She's henpecking.
But this kid is like, he would be 26 now, or 25 at least. Like,
there's at the point where he leaves home for good before he comes back and kills them. There's a really awkward scene where the dad's like, "I hope you find love."
everyone in the audience laughed.
But I don't think. Yeah, it was odd.
The tone is weird, and I'm bringing up all the corny stuff because I feel like the characterization of Corey and the actor playing him and the dialogue, that storyline felt very serious. And I felt like the better movie would have been to focus on him, and then maybe it starts off with him meeting Michael Myers and being inspired like by his rage of being treated poorly, that he's doing these killings. But then it's like that character felt legit, but then everything around it is just like so ridiculous.
Like Allison's attraction, which ostensibly makes them like they're going to be the next Bonnie and Clyde almost.
But she is like the day she meets him, she's like, I'm in love with him.
Let's burn this to the ground. Like, whoa, okay, hold on a second.
I have another note that like the way everyone's talking about like Haddonfield and Michael Myers and the trauma. I just wrote down, why doesn't everyone just leave this town? Or, it's not like it's very nice.
Or not celebrate Halloween. Like maybe this is a night we all just cool it.
When Corey decides to start killing, he's wearing like a scarecrow mask, but then ultimately steals he beats up Michael Myers to steal his mask.
Mm-hmm. I like that actor, and I think his performance is better than the material.
Yes.
But he reminded me kind of like, I was getting like a young Treat Williams and even Jason Segel.
He reminded me of someone, I did like him. Mm-hmm. I wrote down that Jamie Lee Curtis is Laurie Strode. I swear every scene she's in, she's just mean mugging somebody. Whether she's looking through a window, a door crack, in the car standing outside the car with her arms crossed. Like
I find her very entertaining, but it is corny. But there's one scene where she's being like Jubilee, Jubilee in the kitchen, and she's disemboweling a pumpkin, and she's I think telling her daughter to flirt with this handsome young man she's discovered for her. And she's talking about like going out there and strutting her tits. It's like.
Then Laurie goes to confront Corey at the house where the boy accidentally dies. And she's sitting on a chair, like leaning back, tapping the wall. And then she gives this talk about how there are two types of people
in this world.
And as she's talking, I'm like, what the fuck is she talking about?
I wrote down Britney Spears there.
It was so out of control. Did you notice that she was holding paper airplanes?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Because he was playing paper airplanes with that boy that night. And then yeah, that's another nice homage because the night he's babysitting, they're watching John Carpenter's The Thing. Because in the original Carpenter film, there is a kid is watching the original 50s version of that film.
The final showdown begins with Laurie, because now her granddaughter Allyson has said like, I'm tired of your ass. You bring nothing but heartache. It's because of you. My mom is dead. My friends are dead. I'm leaving. So then we see Laurie like sitting at her desk in her house, and she basically calls 911 to like tell them she's going to commit suicide. And then we see her grab a gun and put it to her head. And then Corey opens the door and she shoots him and then says like, did you really think I was going to commit suicide? I actually thought that sequence was very good.
It was very good. The cops did take a very long time.
That's my next note. Those police took forever, and the one cop who likes her is the one who knew she called.
And called her granddaughter.
And calls her daughter to be like, have you checked on your grandma? Like, you need to get to this house.
Shouldn't they be on high alert on Halloween in this town?
Granted, at the same time this is happening, the DJ they killed, his radio station's on fire. So I don't know if like the cops were trying to attend to the fire, but I just thought it was funny. Like Laurie, everyone knows Laurie Strode. The cop who isn't like likes her knows that she called 911, and it takes them forever to get there.
Yes.
But I thought the kill scene or like the final showdown was cool, and then Laurie ends up like nailing Michael Myers to like the kitchen island. I thought that looked cool.
Now, always an errant knife in the sink. There's whatchamacallit, with a knitting needle. That's, of course, a nod to the original film. Kyle Richards returns.
I don't think we needed her at all.
We didn't. She's now the bartender at this local haunt, and everybody's dressed up for Halloween. And was Kyle Richards' costume to be Demi Moore? Because that's what it looked like.
I don't know. I didn't. She could have not been in the movie and it wouldn't have made a difference.
I know.
I don't have anything else to say. I did enjoy this more than the last one. I feel like people who really like the Halloween franchise will obviously like this one.
Yeah.
If I had paid to see it, I would not be upset.
No, it is much better than Halloween Kills, but also I hardly feel like this is the last time. It might be the last time we see Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, but rest assured, I'm sure Michael Myers will be resurrected somewhere by somebody. But how about those cherry blossoms?
I don't even know what that meant.
That's the last line of the film.
I know, but it's like I'm not sure what she was talking about.
Because that's what her flirtation with Will Patton.
I know, but it's like, what are you talking about? And then he looks ridiculous. Like, he's trying to flirt with this lady, and he's dressed like...
In the grocery store, she's like chiding him for being a meat eater, and...
He looks so dry.
She's like, have some vegetables, and she throws a can of like green beans or something. He's like...
Oh, and then in the final scene, after everything's said and done, he brings her a gift, and it's like a basket filled with vegetables.
And he goes, have a good time with those or something. like, okay.
What would you give this movie?
I do like Jamie Lee. I would give this film 2.5.
I would give it 2.5 out of 5. It was okay. Anything else?
No.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.